Hi again then guys, and welcome to another special patron collab video. As many of you know, I like to work with some of my top tier patrons to actually produce videos every month. Sometimes due to circumstance we don't have the time to do that, but this is another one of those occasions. And as many of you who saw the Dodge Viper Specialized Tuned review from Gran Turismo 5 Prologue, which was hosted for that month by Nismo Nath, once again we are revisiting Gran Turismo 5 Prologue. It's one of those games that I just haven't got around to, so he tends to cover the car reviews from that game. It's quite a nice little way that it works out. So I will hand it over to him, and for those of you who are interested in doing this kind of thing with me every month on the channel, you should click the link down below, go and check out the Patreon, and check out the different tiers and different rewards and perks. There are tons, not just making videos. But that's it for me, and of course, now, Nismo Nath, on with the show.
Hiya guys, welcome along to another episode of Forget Your Warranty, the review series for all sorts of tuned, modified, customized vehicles in the Gran Turismo franchise that range from high-powered time attack monsters to humble street builds. And on the topic of humble street builds, we're having a look once again at Gran Turismo 5 Prologue at the Suzuki Swift Sport concept by GT. Bit of an interesting choice, this one. When I saw it in the dealership, it looked quite interesting because I've always had a soft spot for the Suzuki Swift Sport. In real life, it's a pretty nimble little thing, but in the Gran Turismo series, it's a bit underrepresented. I mean, of course, it has a presence. It's been in the game since GT5, but it just doesn't get that much exposure. So to find one tuned in the dealership by Gran Turismo was quite surprising. So that's what we're going to be looking at today, and as I mentioned before, right off the bat, it's not the most hardcore tuned car in the world. It has a couple of carbon go faster bits, and it's got a bit more power, but it's... let's delve into it a bit. Right off the bat, I believe it's one of the cheapest, if not the cheapest, tuner car available in the game. 60,000 credits, which is respectable. But again, considering the original Suzuki Swift is such a dirt cheap model, it's usually around 20-25 credits. I think it depends on the game, may differ a little bit. But for such a dirt cheap car, what do you get for all that extra money? Well, right off the bat, you get 80 horsepower extra, which is a fair bit for a hot hatch. Of course, hot hatches always are small, light, nimble, so power does help them out a lot. So this little extra helping of power bumps them up to 200 horsepower, which is a good clean number for a Swift. I can't tell you the weight because in true polyphony fashion, there is none stated. So let's just assume it's very light. It certainly feels very light. With that extra power, it is zippy. Like most hot hatches, it's pretty quick off the line. It's certainly got power. It's just that it lacks the top end speed, which wouldn't be such a problem, but because it's a tuned car, it's only really allowed in events that already have Lexuses and GTRs and Ford GTs and real high spec cars, so that does come across as a bit of a problem for it. It just lacks the top end compared to its rivals. Handling, well, it's about as good as you can expect for a front wheel drive. Of course, it understeers. This footage that you're seeing, I was racing with no traction control, so it does light up out of the corners. Really, all you have to do is drive it like you would any other front wheel drive. Brake early, turn it in, get it past the apex, and then gas it out. So yeah, not too great, but again, people that drive front wheel drive cars know exactly what they're getting themselves into. As a package though, I'm not actually sure that it's that great. It's not bad per se, but it just comes across as a bit underwhelming. I mean, here was the potential to give it extreme aero, heaps of power, make it rear-wheel drive, reminiscent of the old racing modified cars we used to see in Gran Turismo like 1, 2, which were just awesome. Some of those things were absolute monsters. And Gran Turismo could have done the exact same thing here, but they didn't. In fact, I'm pretty sure the Swift is still street legal. Would I recommend the Swift? No, I wouldn't. In fact, I think that this is a perfect candidate for Mike's better off avoiding these series, which, for those of you who don't know, because it was a while ago, it was a relatively small series for the various vehicles in the Gran Turismo franchise, which weren't really worth being there. Most of them were chrome line or stealth model cars, if I recall correctly, because they just weren't that great over their base models. But yeah, this Swift is good, and you will enjoy it, especially if you're a hot hatch front wheel drive enthusiast, but ultimately it just falls a bit flat. So that's it for this review. Of course, thanks for watching, and I'll be back with another video, whether it's a review or a YouTube poop, all in due time. Adios.
And that's it for this instalment of the Patron Special Collabs. Of course, stick around for more like this on the channel. I know many of you guys do really enjoy these kind of collab videos between myself and the Patron HSG team members. So, as I said, stick around for more like that, and be sure to check out the Patron page to see if you want to do something like that yourself. But that's it for this pick. I'll see you guys next time, and for now, as always, thanks for watching.